People often ask me, why would you leave a successful corporate career after more than 20 years? Especially when you had finally reached leadership positions that so many aspire to. It's a question that takes us back to the heart of the high performance world. A world where success is measured in titles, accolades, and milestones achieved. But the real story is about what happens when the external success no longer matches the internal peace. I didn't leave because I was unsuccessful. I didn't leave because I stopped loving my work. I left because somewhere along the journey, I realized that while I had built a successful career, I had slowly lost my connection with myself. My life was a series of flights, meetings, and deadlines. A calendar that filled itself before the sun even rose. I was the master of my schedule, yet a slave to the expectations that came with it. The lists grew longer, the stakes higher, and the silence was nowhere to be found. Time became a commodity to be managed rather than a gift to be experienced. I was leading teams, managing clients, and driving growth. From the outside, it was the dream. But inwardly, I was running on a treadmill that had no stop button. I was successful, but I wasn't whole. Outwardly, everything looked perfect, the title, the office, the respect, but the cost was becoming too high. I was constantly busy, yet rarely present. I was in the room, but my mind was already 3 meetings ahead. Every notification felt like a weight. Each email, a demand on a soul that was already depleted. The burnout wasn't a sudden flame. It was a slow, silent cooling of the spirit. I realized that if I didn't stop, I would lose the very essence of who I was. I was successful at everything except being. I needed to find a way back, not to a new job, but to a new way of living. My journey began with curiosity. I started reading, searching for answers I didn't even know how to ask. I explored yoga, sound baths, and different forms of meditation. I was looking for a quick fix for a lifelong habit, but my mind seemed incapable of staying focused. It was like trying to tame a storm with a feather. I kept searching, driven by a quiet desperation to find a center that didn't shift with the market. I was a leader who couldn't lead her own mind, and that was the hardest truth to face. Then I discovered Vipassana meditation, an ancient technique that promised nothing but the truth. Looking back, I can honestly say it changed the course of my life. I didn't know then that silence would be my loudest teacher. 10 days of noble silence, no phones, no talking, no eye contact, just me and the patterns of my mind. The first few days were a battle. My corporate mind wanted to optimize the meditation, to win at being still. But the instructions were simple. Don't do anything. Simply observe reality exactly as it is. I learned to watch my breath, to see it not as a task, but as a bridge between the body and the mind. My thoughts were like wandering travelers, visiting the past and the future, rarely staying in the present. I saw the patterns of my own cravings and aversions. I saw how I had been reacting to the world rather than responding to it. In the silence, I finally heard what I had been running from. And in that hearing, I found my freedom. The deepest source of my suffering was not the outside world. It was the patterns of my own mind. I saw that my stress wasn't caused by my job, but by my reaction to it. My ambition wasn't the problem, my attachment was. Meditation isn't about clearing the mind. It's about understanding it. It's about finding the space between stimulus and response. And in that space, there is a choice to be present, to be kind, and to be at peace. I learned to observe the sensations in my body without judgment, to see them as they are, changing, passing, temporary. This was the most profound leadership lesson I had ever learned. To lead others, I first had to master the art of being. I walked out of that retreat a different person. Not because my life had changed, but because I had. Ironically, meditation didn't make me less ambitious. It made my ambition more meaningful. I started leading with a different energy, less about pushing and more about holding space for excellence to emerge. I found that when I was centered, my team was more creative. When I was present, they felt seen. Success started to look like clarity. Power started to look like compassion. And leadership felt like service. I learned the power of the pause, the strength that comes from a quiet heart and a steady mind. I wasn't walking away from the world, I was engaging with it from a deeper place. Leaving corporate life wasn't an escape, it was an evolution, a choice to apply my experience to a new purpose. Today, I help others find the calm within the storm. I help leaders rediscover the human at the heart of the hustle. I am still a leader, but now I lead from the inside out. My mission is to bridge the gap between success and soul. Because a world led by mindful people is a world that can finally heal. And it starts with a single breath. I didn't leave because I stopped being ambitious. I left because my definition of success changed. Today, my greatest achievement is waking up every morning with a calm mind, an open heart, and the quiet certainty that I am finally living a life that is truly my own. And the journey continues, one breath, one observation, one moment of awareness at a time.